Thank you all for coming back to Life Management with Kelli. And I do want to say that I really appreciate you all for liking and sharing my videos. I'm especially appreciative for the comments that I get back when people say to me, I never thought about something like this, or I never thought about it that way. I believe that a good therapist, their dream is to challenge people to think about things differently. So I really appreciate that. And feel free to keep your comments and your feedback coming. I like them a lot. And I'm hoping that what I'm doing is just simply to help people, which is why I'm putting it out here for free. As I said, everybody has something that they're dealing with. And if you choose not to deal with it, it's going to deal with you. The last video, we talked about wounds that are unhealed and wounds, and we talked about why they won't heal. And I left with basically saying that reasons that wounds won't heal is because we carry the weight of other people, the weight of the people that probably didn't hold up their end of the bargain where we were concerned, or what we thought was their end of the bargain. So things happen to us such as physical abuse, sexual abuse, divorce, betrayal, grief, and loss. Those things happen. After they happen, though, we started believing stuff about ourselves that put a lot of weight on our shoulders. And I want to reiterate, most of us were wounded as early as childhood. And so we walked out of those situations with the weight, feeling like it was my fault. I'm weak. I'm not good enough. I'm a bad person. I'm unwanted. That stuff is heavy to carry. And if that's what we walked around carrying, and if that's what we continue to walk around carrying, we find ourselves engaging in behaviors that are maladaptive. In other words, behaviors that are supposed to protect us, but they actually end up hurting us, such as fight, flight, freeze, appease. So again, we talked about why won't wounds heal? Oftentimes they won't heal. It's because we won't drop the weight. Let's say we have dropped the weight. Here's reason number 2 that wounds won't heal. For example, if I believe or feel like my mother did some things that she could have done differently, could have done better, or my mother had her own stuff, oftentimes I find myself over here in mom's business trying to get her to explain, why didn't she do this? Why didn't she do that? I needed you to do this. I needed you to do that. Why did you put this before me? While I'm in mom's business, you'll notice I've left my business. And if I'm wounded, this is who and what needs my attention. There is nothing that my mother could say now that will change what happened then. Some point I have to figure out, how do I step out of her business and continue to tend to myself? It's the exact same thing. If my father had things that he could have done differently, that he could have done better. And again, let me say, it doesn't mean that I'm mad at my father. It doesn't mean that I don't love him or forgive him. But if I'm still trying to figure out why he made certain decisions, I'm in his business and I need to be here in my business taking care of me. Somebody walked into my life, violated me, asked me to hold or keep a secret that affected me tremendously. And I want to know, why did they pick me? Was it my fault? Did I do something to cause it? Again, I'm in that person's business. I need to be here tending to myself. Because as long as I'm in somebody else's business, I'm not getting what it is that I need. Same thing that works with God. If I'm trying to figure out, why didn't God stop it? Why did God take my loved one away? I'm all in God's business. I have no business in God's business. I need to be in my own business. Oftentimes when we spend time in the business of other people, and if I leave myself unattended to, we hold the world, society, relationships responsible for making us okay. And oftentimes when we hold them responsible, y'all, we just end up wounded all over again. I have to say, we have to step out of the business of the people that probably hurt us and let us down, not saying what they did was okay, but understanding that I am the one that need my attention now. And here's the deal. More than likely, mama, daddy, whomever, they probably got boxes in weight that they can hand off. Maybe there were people that didn't do right by them. That's not my business, though. I need to be here in my business. And when I find myself back in my business, how do I look at this wounded part of myself and once again determine there is no way that it was my fault? Soldiers, if they go to Iraq, if they go to Afghanistan, and if they're wounded, If they come back to America, the proper thing to do to a soldier is to salute them and honor them. You honor a soldier for their service. You don't look at a soldier and say, it was your fault, you're weak, you're not good enough. In order to heal the wound, you have to honor it. You have to acknowledge it. You have to figure out, how do I take care of this part of myself and find healthy enough people to invite them to continue to take care of this part of myself. We're not trying to change the wound. We're not trying to change the people that affected us in ways that they affected us. We're simply trying to rewrite this story and rewrite the narrative so we can look at ourselves in an honorable way. And the other thing I want to help you guys hopefully to remember, this is something that works really well with my clients, especially with my child and adolescent clients. And I'm talking to the child or the adolescent that's within you, especially if you're an adult. But this is one thing that works well with them. I ask them to imagine if you were 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years old and you were in a courtroom with a judge. And if a judge is on his podium, if you're there, and if you're there with the people that hurt you or didn't do right by you, there's no way a judge is going to hit a gavel and look at an 8-year-old and say, you're guilty because of what these adults have done. A judge is probably going to say to a kid, what are you doing here? There's no way it could possibly be your fault. A judge is not going to convict a kid because there's no evidence. And again, we're talking about changing the weight of the narrative. So you begin to look at this part of yourself and say and declare, it was not my fault. Not only do I say that, I believe it, and now I feel it. And I will continue to say, you don't do this just one time. You have to make a commitment to do this for the rest of your life. Because when you find yourself with things that look like, act like, smell like, move like what wounded you, you'll be triggered to go back into this narrative that's negative, that doesn't work for you. So you spend time recreating the story with saying, because you're still here, there's no way you were weak. You had to be strong if you survive that. Hopefully you get the point, you get where I'm going. The whole reason I'm doing this is to get you to be more caring, compassionate, and considerate of you. And remember, if you don't deal with your stuff, it's going to deal with you. You can decide all day long, I don't want to deal with it. It's going to continue to deal with you. I'm challenging you to take control of your life. You can do it. You don't have to do it by yourself. Include people to walk this journey with you. You can do it. Go ahead, deal with it so it can stop dealing with you. Thank you for watching Life Management with Kelli.